I didn't find out about Lisa's affair in some dramatic movie scene. No lipstick stains, no perfume that wasn't hers, no suspicious calls in the dead of night. It started with a single, seemingly harmless thing, a hotel rewards email on her phone. I wasn't snooping. She left it on the kitchen counter while making tea, and the notification lit up the screen. "Thank you for staying with us, Miss Carter. We hope to see you again soon." Except Lisa hadn't been out of town. At least, not according to her. I remember calling out from the kitchen table, "Hey, since when do you stay in hotels?" She froze for a half second, just long enough for me to catch it, then laughed. "Oh, that work thing. Booked a room for a client." The lie was smooth, too smooth, the cracks in the story. I didn't accuse her right away. Cheating isn't something you confirm with one suspicious moment. You build a case piece by piece. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing more. Her work dinners went later and later. She was suddenly very protective of her phone. She'd come home smelling faintly of a cologne that wasn't mine. One night, I waited for her to leave for another client meeting, then followed at a distance. I didn't even have to try hard. She wasn't looking for me. She drove to a small boutique hotel on the edge of town. I watched from across the street as she stepped out of the car and into the arms of a man I didn't recognize. The image burned into me. Her smile was different with him, like the smile she used to have with me before the walls went up. The moment I snapped, I didn't confront her that night. I didn't scream or throw things. Instead, I sat in my car, letting the quiet rage settle into something sharper, something deliberate. Revenge wasn't going to be a drunken argument or a hasty bag packed in the middle of the night. No, this was going to be slow, meticulous, and perfect. First, I needed to know exactly how deep the betrayal went. I pulled our bank statements, traced her credit card charges, and found a paper trail of hotel stays, fancy dinners, and even gifts, none of which were for me. I also noticed something else. She'd been using my money for some of it. The joint account we both contributed to was her playground. That was my in. I opened a separate bank account in my name only and started quietly moving my paychecks there. I left just enough in the joint account to cover our usual bills, so she wouldn't notice the difference. At the same time, I collected evidence. Screenshot the texts I found when she carelessly left her laptop open, photos of her with him, copies of hotel receipts, all neatly organized in a folder labeled insurance. The perfect revenge had to be more than catching her. It had to flip her life upside down in a way she couldn't recover from easily. I waited until our anniversary. I bought her a beautiful necklace, booked a table at the same restaurant where we'd celebrate our engagement, and made sure she'd be completely unguarded. Halfway through dinner, I slid a small gift box across the table. Inside was a USB drive. She looked confused. "What's this?" I smiled. "Everything you've been doing for the past 6 months. When she opened the files on her phone right there at the table, her face went pale. Photos of her and him. Screenshots of her messages. "I can't wait to get out of here and see you tonight." He suspects nothing. Receipts. Hotel confirmations. Bank statements. And then, the last file, a scanned copy of the separation agreement I'd had a lawyer draw up. It stated that she would leave the house, that our joint assets were frozen, and that I had full rights to everything I'd moved into my sole account. She stammered something about it not being what it looked like. The man at the next table glanced over. Someone else whispered. The whole room felt like it was leaning in. I stood, dropped the house keys in front of her, and said, "You'll need somewhere to stay tonight. Maybe he has room." Then I walked out, leaving her there with the bill and a room full of strangers staring. By the next week, she'd moved in with him. By the next month, she was calling me to say he wasn't who she thought he was. I didn't care. I had my house, my savings, and my peace back. Revenge didn't give me joy, but it gave me something better, closure on my terms. And that's the thing about the perfect revenge. It isn't loud. It's silent, calculated, and final. Weeks passed without a single word from me. The separation papers were filed, the evidence neatly sealed away in my lawyer's office. Lisa tried to reach out, texts, emails. even showing up once in the driveway, but I never let her inside. The part she never saw coming was that I had already spoken to her employer, not in a vindictive, gossiping way, just a carefully worded, fact-based email about her inappropriate relationship with a client and the financial irregularities that came with it. The company launched an internal investigation. She lost her biggest client. Then she lost her job. I never looked him up in depth. He wasn't worth my time, but word got around. He was divorced twice, had a string of failed businesses, and a reputation for burning through people as quickly as he burned through money. By the time Lisa realized he wasn't going to save her, she was already tangled in his debts. I heard she started working 2 part-time jobs just to cover rent in a tiny apartment. It wasn't about enjoying her suffering. I didn't. It was about knowing she could never come crawling back with some story about missing what we had. That bridge was not just burned. It was turned to dust. The first night I slept in the house alone, it felt strange. The silence was heavy, but it was my silence. I could cook what I wanted, play music loud, leave the lights on or off without worrying about her moods. I took the money I protected and booked a trip I'd always dreamed about. 3 weeks in Italy. No drama, no guilt. Just me, a camera, and a country that didn't know my story. One evening in Florence, sitting with a glass of wine and watching the Arno River glow under the sunset. It hit me. I didn't just take revenge on Lisa. I reclaimed my life. People think revenge is about making the other person hurt as much as you did. But the perfect revenge? It's about removing them from your life so completely that they become irrelevant. Lisa's betrayal was the last chapter in our story. My revenge was the prologue to a better one. And for the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about what she'd done to me. I was thinking about what I was finally free to do for myself. Months later, I ran into Lisa by accident at a grocery store. She looked smaller somehow, not in size, but in presence. No sparkle, no power in her voice. We locked eyes for a moment. She gave a half smile, maybe hoping for some sign that I still cared, that she still had a piece of me. I simply said, "Take care, Lisa." No anger, no satisfaction, just finality. And as I walked away, I realized that was a true perfection of my revenge. Not that she lost everything, not that I kept everything, but that she no longer had the power to matter.